Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Thursday, and what a Thursday it was. We had Bitfarms report their earnings report. The stock actually did really well today. It was the top performing stock today. We had Cleanspark postpone their earnings, and everybody's like in panic mode right now. I'll give you guys my thoughts on it as well. We'll get into that. And then also Dan Roberts from Iren provided an explanation of why their power and electricity costs were so high for July. So we'll get into all that, and we'll get into your guys' Q&A side of things. So, as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research. And my full disclosure down below. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe. Hit the like button and hit the like button and subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. But let's get into what's going on here with Bitcoin today. Bitcoin had a great day. It's down a little bit here in the new day. But nonetheless, we had a really, really good day on Bitcoin. Zoom in on here a little bit. On Bitcoin here, we can see that it was up quite nicely today. It was up on the daily, was up 11%, 11.89%. Okay, I knew it had a good day, but I didn't think it was that good. I was watching it throughout the day. It was like up 4%, 5%, and then I guess we must have went up much higher later on when I was busy working on the kitchen again. So, yeah, nice. Bitcoin had a really nice day today. It was up $6,557. It closed at $61,705. Really good here. We are now basically bouncing off of our support here at 61,000 here, which is good. We came below a little bit on the new time frame, which is going to be on Friday's time frame, and we are now sitting at where are we at here? We are at 61,505 roughly or so. So that's looking pretty good here. We are also getting close to the 200-day moving average, which is good. We kind of closed right at it here. You can see this line going down here. That's the 200 daily moving average, simple moving average. So that's looking pretty good there. RSI did come up here a little bit as well. RSI is right now at approximately 49 or so. So we still have a ways to go here. Last time we were back here we were actually higher than that one. But if we look at the 4-hour chart, we can see that price where it's at right now in the RSI is at 63. Last time we were also higher. So we need a reversal on the 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart here. We have become a little bit overbought, overextended a little bit, came back down a little bit. And last time, if we look back here, price was actually lower. So we are seeing the reversal happening here on the 1-hour chart, which is a good sign. Eventually, we will see that on the 4-hour chart, I think, as long as Bitcoin continues to go up. And then on the daily chart, might take a couple of days for that to flip as well. But we're looking pretty good here. As for the miners, oh my gosh, had a really great day today. NE was up 6%, Argo was up 8%, BitDigital was up 18%, BitDeer was up 10%, Bitfarms 22% on the day. It had a really nice day today, which is nice to see because it's still way undervalued. And we'll look at my numbers here in a second here. The numbers actually increased for them for where they should be. Cypher was up 11%, Cleanspark up 10%. It was down a little bit after hours, but then it came back up here. I don't have the after hours noted here right now. CORZ was up only 3%. It had a really good day yesterday as well, and the prior day, so that's kind of catching up here a little bit. Digihost was up 9%, DMG was up 5%, Hive was up 13%. That one had a pretty good day. It's still below where it ended up yesterday, but it had a good day. Hut 8, also a pretty good day, also ended up a little bit lower from yesterday. Iren up 12.43%. It's still below from where it was. The news that on their operational report for July and the cost of electricity, that took a hit on the stock price there. Not going to lie on that one. Marathon was up almost 10% here, 9.79. Mawson, 20%. I don't know if there was any news on them. I haven't seen anything. Mawson Infrastructure Group, Inc. to present that. Yeah, I mean, there's no really news on them right now. So I think it's just a little bit of manipulation with them. They don't have a lot of shares outstanding, so that could be the reason why. Riot was up 8.5%. Stronghold was up 19.9% also. I don't think there was anything really, let's see here. Maybe reporting negative earnings. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing happening here with them. Also, they don't have a lot of shares, so it might be a little bit of manipulation there. Wolf was up nicely today, also 16.17%. So a great day compared to what we had yesterday with the miners, which is always good to see on these guys here right now. So that's it for the miners here. Also, WGMI was up nicely today, 10.67%. I own that. I also own BitQ, 8.21%. So that's good to see. Starting to kind of get back some of the profits on paper, I guess you could say. I think today I was up almost like $85 to like $100,000, and on paper at least, with everything going up here with the miners that I own and the ETFs as well that I own, Bitcoin and all that stuff. So today was a much better day than what we've seen here in the last couple, you could say maybe 2 weeks or so. We are starting to bounce back a little bit here, but we're still far from where we really should be. All right, so that's it on that. Let's talk about some of the news stories that we do have here today. First one is going to be on Cleanspark. So Cleanspark was supposed to report their Q3 report, financial results via webcast, and they're supposed to provide that at the end of the day. And then right after the close of the markets, they came out here with, they announced the postponement of its fiscal third quarter 2024 financial results, initially scheduled for today, right at the close. The company intends to provide the updated time and webcast details in the subsequent release. I've been checking it. I haven't seen anything yet. And, there's a lot of fear out there. Is there issues with a lawsuit? Is there issue? Well, there is a lawsuit. I think there's a grid. The shareholders of grid are suing. I think it's a class action lawsuit, actually. I could be wrong on that one, but I think it's a class action lawsuit with the shareholders. They don't think they got a fair deal from Cleanspark on the purchase there, so that's going through. And maybe that's because of it. I think that came out also today also as well. So maybe that's the case for it. They have to go through their legal department and discuss that as well before they can provide their Q3 results. The other issue could be, maybe they're trying to buy somebody out. Did that actually go through? And they want to include that in there. So there's a lot of things that could be into it. As you guys know, the quarterly results are also not audited. So they are basically unaudited right now, the results. So it shouldn't be anything to do with the actual numbers there. Unless something came up where they were off on something maybe. But usually that wouldn't happen. You usually have people that would double and triple check that stuff before it goes out. What else could it be there? I don't know what else it could be. I mean, I'm thinking it's either they're buying somebody out and then got good news on that, or it's because of the lawsuit on grid, from the shareholders. So there's a couple of things that could be going on there, and I wish they would have provided more information on it. I think that would have been nice to see that. Whenever you have this kind of bland information and a lot of details, that's when you start having, the wheels spinning in the heads of everybody else, of the investors, going, what the heck is going on? Is this bad news? Is this good news? What's going on here? And there's panic in the streets a little bit here. And we saw that on Twitter and other places as well. But I think we'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. And the reason I'm saying tomorrow is because DR Lewis actually went to the website of Cleanspark for their presentation that they're supposed to be doing, the web conference as well. And then it says here, if you look at it, on this one, it says, welcome back, Daniel. The event is scheduled for August 9th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. So that would mean my time, 3:30, after the market close. So it looks like that's being moved over to the next day. But we haven't seen anything concrete from Cleanspark right now as far as press release on that timing. So we'll see if this is the actual timing on it. Okay. But yeah, it would have been nice, like I've said, to get more details on it as far as what's going on, because without information, the void of information, it actually breeds a lot of speculation. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. As you guys know, I'm a huge shareholder of Cleanspark as well. And I'm definitely interested to see what it might be. We'll find out tomorrow, maybe, what it is at that point. All right. Next here. So as we've talked about here on this past couple of days, when was Iren that reported there? Like 2 days ago, I think. They reported their July updates. And in that July update, they actually had a higher cost for electricity per Bitcoin than what the Bitcoin price was at that point. So they were like 61,400, and the cost for Bitcoin, or the revenue from Bitcoin was like 61,000 something per Bitcoin, whatever it was. So it was higher than that. And we didn't have a lot of information in the press release. And then Dan Roberts came out with an actual thread on Twitter or X. And it's pretty detailed here. I'm not going to go through it all here, but he does go into how they got into the situation that they are in, how they're doing the hedging on the power, electricity costs, and all that stuff. You guys can check this out. It is on X. If you search for Dan Roberts 0101, you will be able to find this information there. And the big thing that I took away here, which was kind of concerning to me a little bit here, and the thread here, number 6 here, the outlook for Bitcoin mining and data centers in West Texas. While any unregulated market will see swings and roundabouts, we expect structural volatility and competitive power prices to persist. over the long term in West Texas with greater than 80% and increasing penetration of intermittent renewables combined with highly constrained transmission capacity. That's a lot to say there. But here's a big thing. Even while navigating the above and rapid growth trajectory at Childress, our total all-in historical power price has been 4.3 cents per kilowatt, excluding 4CP charges. If near-term spot market volatility continues to be subdued, then it is absolutely possible that our existing hedges contribute to continued higher power prices over the next couple of months until they roll off. So it seems like they have a hedge that might be maybe like a quarterly hedge. So we're talking about possibly having it July, August, and September. And that's concerning, right? Because if the power demand is not there, like they were thinking it was going to be there, because if you read through the prior bits of it, he does talk about where they thought the power demand was going to be much higher than what it actually was for July. And if the power demand is not there in August or September, then they might be paying higher electricity costs because of it, which is tough. So we'll have to see how this continues going forward. We'll see what August numbers are, and they are also looking to look at other avenues potentially as well that might not be hedging, but they're looking into it. I mean, you guys can read this all. I thought it was just good information here. And then in saying that, if some of the expected volatility returns, then we can once again monetize this. Many of you will recall that last August we ended up being paid to take power, i.e. negative power price, because we were able to monetize the substantial market volatility experienced that month, right? So they're kind of saying that they did have a great month back then, last year, but it's not working out for them right now, at least not in July. We'll see if the demand is there in August and September as well. That's usually like the hottest months, typically in the summertime, August and September, because it takes a while for the ground to warm up, everything else. But when it does do that, usually in like August and September is when you have the hottest months. So, I mean, it's great that Dan provided this. It's a great explanation of everything. I highly recommend you guys read this if you do get a chance to do it. And it does give you a little bit more insight into how they go about hedging their electricity pricing and everything else. So, yeah, it's kind of, I mean, you're betting on something, and if it doesn't happen for you, you're basically losing at that point. So we'll see how that plays out going forward. But again, thank you to Dan Roberts for putting this out, and I think this was definitely well needed. Like I said, the only concern here is if the demand is not there for the next couple of months, they might be in the same boat as they were in July, which would be unfortunate at that point. But we'll see. So as you guys know, I also own quite a bit of Iren. I'm not doing anything with Iren right now. I'm not selling it. I'm not buying more of it. I actually bought more on Monday and Thursday of last week with pricing coming down on it. And we'll see what it does going forward. Okay. So that's it on that one. And let's get into Bitfarms here really quick as well. We're not going to get through too much of it here. We'll just look at some of the highlights of it all. And then we'll get into my spreadsheet as well, and we'll talk about the results here. So Bitfarms reports second quarter 2024 results. Revenue of $42 million, down 16% quarter over quarter. We kind of expected that. We talked about that in prior videos as well. The revenue is going to be down. Gross mining margin of 51% compared to 64% in Q1 2024 and 48% in Q2 of 2023. Big takeaways from this is we had the halving event happen in April. That's the reason for the decrease in gross mining margins, which we expected that as well. So it wasn't that bad compared to what we thought it was going to be, where it's going to be 50% less. But it was still down for pretty much all the miners across the board here. Current hash rate 11.1 exahash, up from 6.5 in Q1. Right, nice growth there. We'd like to see them get to 12 exahash, which they possibly might get to by the end of August here. Current efficiency of 25 watts per terahash. Nice improvement in that from where they were a year ago. 26% improvement from Q1 alone. And then on track to achieve guidance of 21 exahash and 21 watts per terahash in 2024. So that's also great news there. They increased their capacity by 220 megawatts, bringing a total of 648 and supporting over 35 exahash in 2025. And then the special committee concludes strategic alternatives review process. So that is all great news there. And you guys can read this as well, see what's going on there with everything on it. But let's get into my numbers here for them. And we'll get into you guys' Q&A side of things here. So as reported right now, Bitfarms has about 425 million shares. This was at the end of the June month. So 425,875,000. Stock price did really well today. It was up 22%, and the stock price is at $2.30 today. Market cap brings them up to 979 million right now, pretty close to 1 billion. They were over 1 billion even before the increase in shares just about 2 weeks ago, before everything started going down on us. The performance here over the last 12 weeks hasn't been that great, but hasn't been that bad either. They're up 26% from 12 weeks ago. They're down 9.2% from 8 weeks ago. From 4 weeks, they're down 18%. And last week, they were also down. That's why I'm saying the last couple of weeks have been kind of tough on the miners in general. Going down here, we can see here the last 4 quarters revenue. They peaked in Q1 with about 50.32 million. Q2 came in at 41 million. The current quarter that we're in, which is going to be Q3 for them, I'm estimating right now roughly 47.18 million. That's with what they have installed right now. Bitcoin price where it's at, network hash rate. That's all going to change though as we get through August and September still. But that's kind of where I'm looking at right now. So that would be a nice increase here from where they were. So that's a good sign. Last 4 quarters of operating costs are actually down here, 33.67 million. That's pretty good. Those have been decreasing here over the last 2 quarters, which is good to see. Cost to mine 1 Bitcoin minus depreciation, I have them at 33.21. I think they stated they're like at 30,000 or 31,000, something like that. And they're probably taking out other things that I'm not taking out. I'm just taking that. How much Bitcoin did they mine during the quarter? What was their cost for it? And then I'm just excluding depreciation on that line there. Okay. Bitcoin mined quarterly has been coming down, which we've seen with quite a few miners as well. So that's not too worrying, but that should be increasing here as they get more hash rate installed. Debt to equity, lower is better. That has been decreasing as well since Q4, which is a good sign there. Current ratio, higher is better. That has been also increasing. That is a good sign as well. That's been increasing ever since Q4. So they're really healthy as far as balance sheet is concerned and all that stuff included in that. Total current assets at 237 million. That's a nice increase here, about 100 million from where they were in Q1. Total current liabilities did increase a little bit here. I mean, those increased by about 900,000 or so. So it's still not bad. That's actually pretty good compared to where they have the total current assets. And then going down here to the actual numbers, when we look at those, we'll get into my metrics down here in a little bit here. We talked about the total current assets. Those have increased quite nicely, about 100 million here from where they were in Q1. So that's good. Total assets also increased a little bit more than that, about 109 million or so, 535 million right now from 426 million. So that's looking good there. Total current liabilities, we talked about that, 46 million. Total liabilities was 62 million, up a little bit here from Q1. That's not bad. Total liabilities and stakeholder equity was 535 million, and that's an improvement from where we were in Q1. So that's looking good here. Revenues, 41.5 million here. So that's down, but it's not down too much from where we were in Q1. Given that we had the halving event, they installed quite a bit of hash rate, which helped out. Got more efficient miners, also helped out. So they're doing all the right things here, in my opinion. Expenses. So we got energy infrastructure actually went down to 20.3, even though they installed, well, that's mainly because I think they installed newer machines, more efficient machines. That has helped get the power costs down. Excuse me. And then we have sales tax recovery, energy infrastructure. So this is part of the sales tax recovery of, what was it, 20 some odd million that they got back. So this is one part of it. They got 17 million from that. Depreciation and amortization was 57 million. That's pretty high, but they probably retired a lot of older machines here. I think that's maybe why. And then sales tax recovery, this is the other part of it. Depreciation and amortization was 8.7 million of that. So those are new line items that we haven't seen before. What else do we have here? Electrician salaries, payroll expenses. That was 873. So this is a combination of the two that they had split out before, where we had purchase of electrical components and electrical salaries and payroll expenses. Now that's all combined into one, 873. So that's up a little bit here, but not much. And then gross profit came in at negative 11 million. If you take out the depreciation and amortization, you're looking at more like, what is that going to be? 46 million on the positive side of things. Gross profit was about 27% here. If we take out minus depreciation, was about 38% roughly. Excuse me. And then when we look at selling and general administration, that actually came down here to 12.4 from 13 million. So that's good there. Salaries and share-based payment down to 4 million here compared to 9. Nice decrease on that. I like seeing that. But I think they also added share-based payments here as a separate line item here now recently. So that's still gone up to only about 5.6 million. That's still looking pretty good here. Professional services, that's gotten up quite a bit here to 5.6 from the 1.6. I think this is partially due to the takeover bid from Riot, and I think they're having to have more legal, there's more stuff involved with that. I think that's the cost on that, unfortunately. And then we have a sales tax recovery, professional services. That was 1.3 million for them on top of that. And then insurance duties and other was up a little bit here. What else do we have here? Travel motor was up almost double here, 466,000, still not bad. Hosting was about the same. Advertising promotion was about a little bit higher, but not much higher. And then sales tax recovery, other general administrative expenses was actually negative 753,000 there. So that's good there. And then overall operating income was negative 23,578,000 compared to negative 23,708,000. So that's pretty good. Finance income was only a negative 1.3 million compared to a negative 11.4 million that they had there. Definitely a huge difference there. Net income before tax came in at 24 million, so double from where it was the prior quarter. Net loss income came in at 26.5 compared to 5.9, and that's because of the finance income there. Let's see here. Total comprehensive income came in at negative 32 million here. If you take out the 50 some odd million in 57 million of depreciation, things look a little bit different there, but they were definitely negative here. Even at that point, they were still negative 0.2 cents in Q1. They were at negative 0.7 cents here in Q2. Based on the number of shares that they had. Now, if we take out the minus depreciation, comprehensive income, all that we're looking at about 25 million in 25 million overall. So they would be at 6 cents positive compared to a negative 15. So still not bad, right? Take out the depreciation part of it, and they're looking much better on those things. If you even take out other non-cash based expenses, they'd probably be looking even better at that point. Okay, going back up here to my sheets here, or my metrics. Let's see here. Cost to mine 1 Bitcoin, we talked about that. It was 86,000 with depreciation. Take out depreciation, we're looking at 33,000. We talked about debt to equity current ratio. Book value of equity was 473 million. Price to book ratio 2.067. Enterprise value 975 million right now. EBITDA was 33 million. EV to EBITDA was 28.9. Debt to EBITDA was 1.8. And then the revenues was 41 million. General administrative compensation, which includes, I believe, let's take a look at that. Does that include everything or no? So yeah, that includes all the other costs in here. That came in a little bit higher. And that was because of the additional fees for professional services. They're at 29.85. Excuse me. So they're kind of where they've been before. 26.23 was where they were before in Q1. So slight increase in that, but not bad overall. Still would like to see that under 20. And maybe we'll get there within the next couple of quarters. We'll see. But yeah, overall, not bad. Excuse me. I got to clear my throat. I get a glass of water. Okay. So like I said, overall, not bad. Big thing right now, stock did pretty good today. It was up 22%. It was the highest performing. So that was good to see there. They still have plenty of growth left ahead of them. If they can get to 12 exahash by the end of August, they would need another 9 exahash. And September, October, November, December, in the next 4 months. That's going to be a lot of growth there for them. And like they said in the press release, they are expecting to get there by the end of the year. So that's good news there. And based on the latest information that we do have here for them, and going over here, so I actually had them, my quarterly estimate for June, Q2 numbers for them was 40.3 million. They came in at 41.5 million. So they've actually done better here for the most part on all of these quarterly numbers that I'm tracking and trying to figure out. So I'm doing it by the average Bitcoin price in each month and getting to it. So either they're selling better than the average, which looks like that's the case here, because I'm pretty much consistently lower on their numbers here than what they're actually reporting, which is a good thing because we're actually getting more for our bang that way. So that's looking pretty good there. Like I said, I was off by 2.89%. I try to stay like within 2.5%. But if they're selling better than the average, that's great on them. Because I can't think of any other reason why they would be outperforming my numbers here compared to everybody else. That's kind of in line with where I see things for them. So that's actually pretty good there. Based on that, I updated the numbers up here to include the last 3 quarters, which are now Q2, Q1, and Q4. and we're using the latest numbers for the estimated quarter that we're in right now, which is Q3 for them. Based on that, having between 435 and 653, they're at $2.30. They are way undervalued from where they should be. And the only thing I can think of is what's keeping them down is the buyout possibility by Riot, right? Other than that, if it wasn't for that, I think they would be doing much, much better. We cleared up the FUD around the CEO. We now have Ben, which is a great CEO there, I believe. I was a strong proponent of him, as you guys know, since May, basically, for him to get the job. And then we also had a nice, very nice get on the board there as well with Penny Phillips. So all of that stuff has kind of gone away, and the stock still hasn't been doing as well as I would have thought it should have. So the only thing I can think of is Riot possibly, and then them not reaching the 12 exahash by June. That might be a little bit of part of it, but it shouldn't be that big of a part of it because they do have a path to get there as well. They're going to be delayed by about 2 months on that. But that's it, right? So I still think Bitfarms is a good get if you can get it. If we can get Riot off our backs on this and basically cease and desist on the buyout takeover going forward, and they don't drop all the shares that they have. I don't even know what they're at right now, whether it's 15%, 17%, or 19%. They haven't reported anything recently. So I'm still guessing that they're at like 14.9, maybe 15 something percent based on that, because I think if they had included or increased their share amount by a large number, they would have to report that, but we haven't seen anything on that. So we'll see on that one. We'll have, what do we got? We got the rest of August, September, and then in October, towards the end, we're going to have the shareholder meeting where Riot is trying to get the board members appointed to the board there. We'll see if that passes through, and then we'll see what happens after that at that point. Okay, so that's it for all of these news stories and Bitfarms and everything else. And my sales pitch, as you guys know, towards the end is always the same. Patreon members get access to my spreadsheets. It's $8 a month. You get 10% discount if you do the annual subscription. And if you can find a spot at $5 and $4, that's great on you if you can do that. It'd be a nice discount for you guys as well. And you still have access to all the spreadsheets and the private Discord server that we have there. Okay, so that's it. All right, let's get into your guys' Q&A side of things here. So what you guys have questions on? I know we're late tonight. That's because I was working in the kitchen for a little bit longer than I wanted to. But let me just say the kitchen is getting close to being done, which is probably about a week or two away from being completely finished, and I am going to be thrilled that it's finished because then I can just kind of relax a little bit. Right now it's been work, kitchen, gathering this stuff, gathering all the data and everything else for you guys, and then at that point it'll just be work and gathering data for you guys and spending time with the family as well. That's important to me also. All right, so we're here at the Q&A. Let me move over to my Q&A side of things here and see what we got going on here. All right, let's see. I'm trying to read through some of the questions that we had before. Let's see. Okay, I guess we'll start here. Andrea says, "Please smash the like button, gang. Thank you." Yeah, if you guys enjoy it. And I want you guys to be honest. If you enjoy it, hit the like button. If you don't, hit the don't like button. But yeah. Let's see what else we have here. Paris says Bitfarms will overtake Riot in market cap. How does a merger of equals sound? Even in a merger of equal, that's not always great even. Let's see. Mark says Bitfarms is a beauty company. Chris Dominator says Bunta needs to go. I may agree with you there. Bunta is one of the co-founders of the company, from my understanding, right? If I'm remembering this correctly. And if he's a thorn in the side of the company and everything else that's going on, he may need to go. I don't know him personally. I've never talked to him. I've just read about him. That's all I've done. So if that's the case, I may agree with you there. See, Patrick says, I bought 8,000 shares yesterday after the big dip. Then I took some profit from it this afternoon, still holding about 40,000 shares of Bitfarms, but having more cash in hands. BTC will pull back again. Very nicely done. You got me beat by 2x on the number of shares. And especially if you sold, what did you sell after still holding? It took some. Yeah, it took some. Well, yeah, you got me beat there. Let's see. Scott says it's really bad look for CleanSpark not reporting today. Generally, it's bad news. Such a late notice to investors. And I'm wondering if it's because of the lawsuit by the shareholders of Grid. That came out today as well. I don't know if that's having an impact on it. That could be it. We'll have to wait until maybe tomorrow when they do report, if they do report tomorrow. I mean, right now it looks like it based on the conference call information there. Paris says, mention they make an offer to buy Bitfarms, LOL. Yeah, if you guys are Patreon members, I posted that. Just a hypothetical, what if they were the ones that were going after Cypher and they actually got the Cypher to approve the deal? I'm just speculating here. But Bitfarms, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Because the reason I would say that'd be kind of cool is because Bitfarms and CleanSpark have really good operational uptimes and things like that. And I own both stocks. But I don't know if that still would be great for Bitfarms shareholders because where would the price at that point be? If the price is at $2.30 now, I mean, how much would they offer? $3, maybe $3.50 at the most, I would think, on it. So it's still not that ideal for as an individual shareholder at in Bitfarms. Mark says it could be an acquisition or merger news. That wouldn't be not bad. Yeah, I mean, if it's something like that, it wouldn't be bad. If it's because of the lawsuit at Grid, okay, we'll have to wait and see. Is that going to postpone their buyout of them possibly? But I think they were reported for July that they had 1 exahash in one of the Grid locations, I believe. So we'll see. On that note, Seb, what do you think about another company bidding for Bitfarms? Again, my stance on this is I don't think, one, Bitfarms is looking to get bought out anytime soon because I think they still believe that they have really good growth prospects going forward. They have, they're growing the hash rate. They're doing all the right things. They paid off all their debt. So I think I believe that they have much better opportunity for the stock to do much better on their own. So even if another company is bidding for them, it would have to be a substantial bid. I would think anything less than maybe, based on my numbers, anything less than maybe $5 is going to be struck down on it. Because at the end of the day, if Bitcoin goes to 250,000, 200,000, whatever it might be, they should be worth around $15 to $20 at that point, if not higher even. I don't know. Let's see. Bitfarms said cost $47,300 to produce. BTC reaches 100,000. Bitfarms 21 exahash reached by the end of the year. What is Bitfarms price? Should be with 53,000 profit each BTC produced. I would have to run the numbers on it. That's a lot of numbers to run there. Where is the network hash rate going to be at that point? Bitcoin gets to 100,000. We can figure that out, but we need to see where the network hash rate possibly could be, which I'm guessing is going to be between 800 and 900, maybe a little bit higher than that by the end of the year. And based on that, we could possibly figure that out. But that's possibly their all-in cost, right? 47,000. I have them at 33,000 for just electricity cost. So that's not bad. 47,000 all-in is actually pretty good. Let's see. Hopefully, Bitfarms reaches $5 by the end of the month. Depending where Bitcoin goes. If Bitcoin continues to on a nice rally here, it might be possible. I mean, they're doing all the right things, I think. Brett says, nobody better hit that dislike button. I always seem to get at least 1 or 2 dislike buttons or dislikes on each stream. I don't know who it is. I don't really care who it is. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I got thick skin. I can take it. Mark says, I'll take $5 Canadian. Why is Riot a threat? See, I just had a thumbs down button come up. So there's somebody out there, which is fine. Why is Riot a threat? Riot is really a threat because if they do buy them out, it's going to be at a much lower cost or a much lower share price than we believe we can get with the company being on its own. That's really the threat there on it. Let's see. Hey, Seb, I'm a bit worried about CleanSpark waiting for tomorrow to report before we go to the weekend. Are you concerned by any chance? Last time they did a report towards the end of it was pre-holiday. I think Friday was a holiday. And they reported they got an ATM. They also reported they sold shares and then got an ATM. That wasn't a great look on them, and I'm waiting to Friday. That could be a sign of bad news, possibly. I just don't know. We'll have to wait to see what that is. Let's see. Would the board decision on the 29th be the same day or day after, weeks later? The board decision, I think we vote on that. So it would be on us to vote it. And I don't know if we would get that with this next day or the same day or the following week. I'm not sure how that would work out. Do you think Bitfarms and Hive can do 5 USD this month? Where is Hive right now? Hive is at 296. Bitfarms at 230. If Bitcoin starts going up, maybe. We would need probably Bitcoin to be around 70, maybe 75,000 at that point to get there. But like I said, I think Bitfarms should be at like between $4 and $6 right now, just to be fairly valuable with the other companies, and it's not. So it could do that. Hive, on the other hand, let's take a look at Hive here. Hive is at 296. Where's my spreadsheet for Hive? Really quick. Where do I have them at? Not that one, this one. Hive, based on their numbers, we're still waiting for their quarterly results on it, but I'm in between 543 and 815. They're at 296, and that's with a PE of 10. They are way undervalued. And the only reason I can say that the Hive might be valued this way is because they don't have a lot of growth going forward. Yes, they want to get to like 12, 13 exahash next year, but by that time, the network hash rate could also be at 1,200 exahash or 1,300 exahash, which would still keep them at the 1% of the network hash rate, which is what their goal is originally. If they had more ambition to be in the top 5 miners and they wanted to really grow that way, I think that would really move the stock more than what it is right now. Okay, and that's why I kind of sold Hive in November, December timeframes last year, because I just didn't see the growth there like I saw with other companies. Let's see. You're up 85 to 100,000 for the day-to-day. Yeah, on paper, right? I haven't sold anything. I haven't bought. I keep buying, but I haven't been selling anything. So over the last 2 weeks, I was down like $350,000 on paper. It can be kind of painful. But yeah, I'm starting to build that back up here, which is kind of nice to see as well. And I've been through this before. We had this back in, we had hit a high in like December of last year into January. Then we went down quite a bit. I was down like 200-some thousand on paper. Then it went back up, and then I'm down again. So I'm used to it. Victor, let's see if this pops up. Victor, question: will the Iren electrical problems and the achieving the 20 exahash next how will these two things impact the price? Thanks. Yeah, I mean, if they're still unprofitable in electricity when it comes to mining this month in August, that may be a pretty it might be a sell event at that point, and a lot of investors at that point. And if they do sell, if it is a contract for like 3 months, like for a quarter or something like that, where they have a hedge for 3 months, a quarter, okay, so then we would have another painful month potentially in September if the demand is not there for electricity like they thought that was going to be. So we'd have a pretty bad quarter at that point. And I think if that's the case, then the stock would probably bottom out somewhere in maybe September timeframe, unless Bitcoin starts ripping much higher here. So Bitcoin goes, I mean, their cost was 61,600 or something like that to mine 1 Bitcoin. If the price of Bitcoin goes in, let's say August to like 75,000, at that point they are profitable, but just slightly. And if Bitcoin goes up even more in September to like maybe 85,000, whatever it might be, then they would be a little better profitable at that point as well. So you can also look at it that way, but it wouldn't be as profitable as some of the other miners out there that have steady rates on electricity. Let's see. Any thoughts on Fufu Q1 144 million, sorry, 35 million income, 23 cents EPS, and 86.6 exahash, host and self listed NASDAQ last month. I would have to look into them. I don't track them right now. Do they provide monthly updates? I don't think they do. I think somebody else asked me about this, and I checked into it, and they don't provide monthly updates. That is one of my requirements for covering the miners. But yeah, them being at 28.6, how much is the hosting and how much is the self-mined? I'm guessing the hosting is probably higher, if I remember correctly. I'd have to look back into them. Let's see. Every time I say I don't want Bitfarms to be part of Riot, a few paid Riot agents gather around me, start talking down to me like they own Bitfarms. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Hey, Sebastian, did you notice that Iren had the same issue with the T21s? Are you worried that the T21s might not be as good as they expected? I did not notice that. Where did you see that? Was it in their July update? And let me see here. Did they have T21s? Let's take a look at your Iren really quick. Where's it at? Right there. Okay, so let's see what I have for them. I try to keep pretty good track of all the miners they purchase for everybody. Let's see here. Yeah, they did get the T21s here. T21s. Yeah, they bought a bunch of those T21s here. They bought a total of, let's see, mix of T21s. I mean, we got basically 74,000 of the T21s. I have not heard anything about that from them. I did hear it from Bitfarms that they had a batch that was possibly bad. What was it about? Was it 3,000 miners or something like that? Whatever it was. I can't remember exactly what it was. Number there. But yeah, I'd be interested to see if you, let me know where you saw that. I'd be interested to see that. Okay. George says, sounds like a manufacturer defect, not an actual design. That's kind of what they're saying. That's what Ben was saying. That the other machines that they have are working fine and working great, actually. It seems like that they have a batch that was maybe bad, possibly. Let's see. That scenario puts Bitfarms at $8 to $11. Which scenario is that? Did I miss something? I must have missed something. Do you think Cleanspark might restate past earnings? Sometimes delayed earnings has to do with the past year's restatement. I hope not. I wouldn't think so because the annual reports get audited by a third party. The quarterly results are not audited. So unless there was something wrong in like Q2 and Q1 possibly, maybe that, but I wouldn't think it was the annual results on that. Why BitDigital jumped today? Well, BitDigital was up nicely today. Was up, let's see, almost 10%, or sorry, 18% on the day. And I think it's just getting back to being possibly where it's more valued, where it should be. But look at the numbers here. I mean, it bottomed out pretty low here at $2.36. It was at a high of $4.37. There wasn't any news. I checked on BitDigital. Let's see, is BitDigital about? There's nothing there on the news. If we look at BitDigital on my sheet here, I have them between 406 and 609. So I think they're still undervalued from where they really should be as well. So they're just kind of catching up a little bit here. And I talked with, I can't remember who his name was last night about HPC infrastructure and the companies that are getting into it and what other companies might be buying them out yesterday. I don't think that had anything to do with it. We talked about them, but we've talked about them being asset light, and I still think that might be an impedance for investors. I think investors are looking for companies that have assets like infrastructure or things like that to value them higher, potentially going forward. Time will tell. We'll see. What else we got here? Ernest says Riot will have to place a limit buy for Bitfarms instead of $4 instead of the $2.30. Even at that, $4 I think is going to be too low for the board to approve that to go through. Let's see. Chris asks, is the U.S. government trying to sell all the Bitcoin before the election? That I don't know. They might. Who knows? They're stupid to do it if they do it. Let's see. If Riot dumps Bitfarms, how low will it drop? Well, it'll depend on how much there's demand for it and how much volume there is during the day or the days that they're selling. If they own like 15% or maybe a little bit higher than that, it's going to be a little bit painful there. But at that point, I would see that as a good sign for the company going forward. If Riot's getting out of it, that kind of takes that monkey off our back, as you could say. And I think the stock would do actually better at that point. So that would be a buying opportunity for me at least. Let's see. What is your, I guess, buy price target for Riot? For Riot, I think right now Riot is pretty low where it's at. I think anywhere, let's see, take a look at Riot. Riot had a pretty good day today, not as good as some of the other miners. but it's come way down. I mean, it's gone even below the prior lows here where we were at about 7 something. This was back in April. And it's gone down all the way to 725 here. So I think as long as we're under $10, that would be a good buying opportunity, I think, for Riot. As long as they can improve their uptime at Corsicana much closer to 90-95%, and at Rockdale, whatever improvements they can make there as well. If they can do that, then I think the site will do much better. And I'm also wondering if the buyout of Bitfarms is lagging on them also. Maybe the investors are not happy with that because they think they're going to be overpaying for Bitfarms. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see. All right. Let's see. Patrick says BTC already refilled 55 to 62 gap today. CPI next week, rate cut in September, and play the elections as well. Wall Street will buy the news and sell the fact. This weekend it will be interesting. Yeah, the gap got filled out of the CME futures, which was nice to see. I've said that before, that majority of the times they get filled, not always, but majority of the times they do, and we got it filled. And hopefully this will be enough for us to start going back up. Let's see. Craig says, just for fun, acting like a gazillionaire, I created a paper portfolio of 11 BTC ETFs on day one, 1,000 shares of each cost of 428,000. Now value is 500 up, but up. Yeah, it's a good way to learn, right? Paper trade on it. Is there a possible chance that Cleanspark acquired Cypher? I don't think so. I mean, Cleanspark, let's take a look at it and see if we can get the market cap numbers here for it. So here we go. Excuse me. So Cleanspark is now a little bit higher than CORZ Scientific today, 2.7 million. You got Cypher at 1.2 billion. Cleanspark does have a nice HODL stack. They would probably try to use it all in shares, if anything, and possibly some cash deal, and majority of it would be in shares. But that would be really tough, I think, and you would be definitely overpaying, possibly. You're better off buying these little private miners here. Deals go a lot faster. You can build them out, and you're not overpaying as much as you would for a publicly traded company. So I don't think so. But it'd be, well, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I don't think so that would happen. But I could be wrong on it. Right, they acquired Grid. Grid was a much smaller company. That made sense there. But trying to acquire Cypher, I mean, that would definitely have to overpay. What is your price target of Iren and Riot? This bull run, I think Iren could get to like $80. Riot's somewhere around there as well, maybe even higher if they can get to 32 exahash. And I mean, they have a lot of growth left. So that's kind of where I'm looking at things. Let's see. On today's conference call, Ben stated Bitfarms will be buying other sites in the USA to be used for HPCI and Bitcoin production. Also, they are talking with many. Yes. I heard part of it. They did say that currently their only site that could be used for HPC AI potentially was the Pennsylvania site. And they are looking into it. But we're hearing that from everybody also. We're hearing that from pretty much any miner that's looking to get into HPC AI, which is a lot of them. A lot of them are saying that they are having conversations. Okay, if you're having conversations, great. When is those conversations going to materialize into actual contracts that are substantial, like we've seen with CORZ and CoreWeave, BitDigital and their unknown customer? We need to see that happen. We're not seeing that right now, so I'm a little skeptical that we might see that. Let's see, did you notice Mara bullish gap at $34? I did not, but I mean that was like the recent top here for Marathon. I think it was around $34. Hey Seb, if you don't mind sharing your average cost for Doge and at what price you would sell it. I would sell it probably like at $1. Actually, I'm positive on Doge right now. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but my cost was like 1.5 pennies or something like that. Even a little bit less than that. And I own, what do I own right now? Like 50-some thousand shares of it. I could probably sell it now and still be in profit, but it'd be only a couple of thousand. So I'm going to hold on to it, see where it goes. What else we got here? Dan Pierre says there doesn't seem to be a multiple between Bitcoin and miners. It seems for every 1,000 in Bitcoin, stocks like Mara, Cleanspark might move up a buck, not like it used to be where it was roughly 3 to 1. Sometimes they decompile from it, but it may take Bitcoin going up to like 75, 80,000 for that to start happening again, where we see that happening. But nonetheless, over the longer time frame, if you look at the shorter time frame, yes, that is the case. If you look over a longer time frame, and if we look at the last 52 weeks, we can see that a lot of the companies have actually outperformed Bitcoin here. Maybe it wasn't that 3x or something like that, but some of them are like 2x. You can see TerraWolf, CleanSpark up nicely here in the last 52 weeks from their bottoms compared to Bitcoin being up 146%. CORZ, same thing. Iren and Bitdeer have outperformed, but then you do have some of these other miners that have been lagging for one reason or another potentially. So that you do see that. But I think as once Bitcoin starts going up in value, much more towards like 70, 80, 90,000, whatever it might be, you're going to see these miners do outperform Bitcoin going forward. As long as they can have good operational uptime, all that stuff that's important. But yeah, sometimes it decouples from it, and then it takes a while, but like, especially when we're trading sideways on Bitcoin, we see that happening. That's kind of what we've been having here for the last couple of months here, happening with Bitcoin right now. Hypothetically, do you think if Mara and CleanSpark merge, would the regulators have a problem with this? It's not like you could corner the Bitcoin mining. 25 countries have a miner working. Yeah, I don't think regulators would have a problem with that because it would not create a monopoly on Bitcoin mining. Jared says, yes, Iren has 221 issues also. Okay, yeah, let me know where you guys saw that. Let's see. Riot seem to buy the dip for Bitfarms, and their holding is now 16.9%. Okay, thank you for that. Question: will you be buying more Iren? Their increase to 20x make the price up next month on completion. Yeah, they're supposed to get to 20 exahash by the end of September here. If the price stays depressed like it is right now, I may buy more. I bought them on Friday. No, sorry. I bought them on Thursday last week and Monday of this week. So if they do stay pretty low, I will continue to buy them. DK says, can we thumbs down the thumbs down person? If you know who that is, but it's only one person, so I'm okay with it. If they don't like what I say, they don't like what I say. That's not a big deal. Let's see. Scott, thank you so much for the super chat. Greatly appreciated. Chip in for some cabinet hardware. Yeah, we still have to buy the handles for it. Appreciate it. T21 is defected S21s. No, they're different. There are different power supplies required for it. The T21 is a 3-phase, whereas the S21 is a single phase. He said, what do you think of ADA now? So you're talking about Cardano. I don't know. I've been tracking it since the last cycle. I'm just hoping that I can get like to $2.50, which is my break-even price on it. If you can get there, I'm out of it. I'm out of all the altcoins this cycle. If they can get close to where my previous buys were in. Let's see. Bought Iren at 680 yesterday. Nice job there. I think long run, I think you'll be fine. Short term might be pretty volatile there. Dan says, my theory, I suppose, is that Bitcoin finally rockets past all-time high, which boosts Bitfarms past 350 and never looks back to the first bull run. Once Bitfarm rolls past 475 and higher, Riot goes away. I think that'll be the ideal situation for Bitfarms at that point. Yes. Too many analysts in today's Bitfarms conference call, and the majority of the questions about HPC. This is not priced in yet in Bitfarms' future price targets. Yeah, I mean, they don't have anything. And Ben has said that you would need different infrastructure, everything else to build out, which would take time. And we're seeing that on a lot of the conference calls from analysts. Everybody's talking about HPCI, HPCI, HPCI. What are you doing with that? Where can you put this? Where can you do that? And I think it's just, oh gosh, I don't want to say it's hype, but it feels like it's hype right now on it because everybody's talking about it. Like I've said before, they're all having these conversations with these potential customers there, but nothing is being actually executed on it. So until I start seeing a lot of these companies are having these conversations and have actually executions on those conversations and get contracts, then I'll change my tune. But right now, I'm still very skeptical on it. Do you think Bitfarms will announce when they get to 12 exahash? Are you going to be able to check out Ben and Bryce and Anthony tomorrow? I'm going to be at work tomorrow. It's going to be tough. But I'll try to maybe jump on there just to say hi. We'll see. And will they announce that they get to 12 exahash? I would hope so that they do that. They didn't announce it until it was actually in a... they were in a... What was it called? It was a conference call with HC Rimmer, I think it was, that they announced that they were fully funded to 21 exahash. Like, why would you wait until you get on a conference call with somebody that's, was recorded? But why not put out a press release? Hey, we're funded to 21 exahash. That should have been great news there. And they didn't do that. So I'm a little upset with their PR department on that side of things. They should be more proactive on these things. See, Jared says they are replacing the defective T21s in the next couple of weeks. Then they will be at 12 exahash. Yeah, that's what Ben has said. And that's all on Bitmain's cost there. Let's see. Ryan, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. This is a good for one knob, baby. Yeah, I don't even know if it's for maybe half a knob. I mean, depending on what knob you get, you could possibly get a knob. Yeah, for the door. Are you going to continue? I guess continue to hold Iren into Q3? Yes. Long time frame, I think they'll do fine. I think this, if they have a contract for the hedge for this current quarter, it's going to be a bad quarter. Yes. So if the price comes down, I will be buying more. And I believe they're going to figure this out, solve it, and not have this issue going forward. Let's see. Bitfarms should bust out a massive ATM and make a lowball offer on Riot. Yeah, what is that? Yin and yang, right? How it all works out. That would be funny. What is your price target for Hive, Iren, BitDigital, and Bitfarms this bull cycle? Hive is a little bit lower. They don't have, like I've said before, huge ambitions to get to like top 5 miners in hash rate. Iren's $80. BitDigital is also kind of tough. They should be valued where they are, higher from where they are right now. Bitfarms, I think, between $15 and $20, if not higher. Hive, I mean, right now, I think they should be valued at, what was it, $6 to $9, I think, for Hive. Let me pull that up. Just got a lot of numbers in my head. $5 to $8 here on Hive. BitDigital, this is right now, right? This is not in the bull run, so they might do 3 to 5x on top of that, potentially. BitDigital, same thing. They should be valued much higher from where they are right now. So, yeah, I mean, they should be at least 3 to 5x during the bull run, if not higher. That's kind of what I would be looking at on it. Okay. Price target for Mara, I think north of 80 for Mara. Honestly, if they can get to the 50 exahash this year, that's going to be huge for them. Yeah, I think it's somewhere around there. Himanashi, thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate it. Jeff asks, hey Sebastian, is the renovation finished? Almost finished. We got cabinets in, we got countertops in, which is a good sign. We got guys coming in to finish up the electrical on Saturday and do the backsplash on Saturday as well. At that point, we should be close. Then we still need to have the cabinet guys come out and finish up the crown molding and some little touch-ups here and there, and that should be done now. So I'm guessing within the next 2 weeks it should be done. See. Yeah, the Russian President Vladimir Putin has officially signed a law that legalizes cryptocurrency mining in Russia. Yeah, he did that. Was it today or yesterday? I can't remember. But yeah, before they were against it, same thing as China has been. So now it's kind of like, China, it's your move. Are you going to legalize it or not? Rick, there's a new constant inflow of buy ETFs. How long before a supply crunch is realized? How much Bitcoin is on the open market for sale? I'm not sure where to find the information. Look at Glassdoor is a good place to find information. A lot of the stuff is behind a paywall, but there is some stuff that's freely available on their charts. So search for Glassdoor. You should be able to find it. I think it's Glassdoor. Is it Glassnode? Is it Glassnode? Gosh, I can't remember now. I think it's Glassnode, if I'm not mistaken here. Let me look it up. Glassdoor, I think, is the recruiting company. Glassnode. Let's see, is that it? Glassnode. No, it's not it either. Gosh, what is that company called? I can't remember now. But you could probably search it if you search on Google for Bitcoin number of coins outstanding or something like that. You should be able to find it. You guys will probably in the comments will know which company I'm talking about or website I'm talking about. Excuse me. That has that information there. Let's see. Dan says, thanks for your answer, Seb. Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming in. Hey, Seb, do you hold any MicroStrategy? If not, are you looking to buy some now that it's cheap? No, because historically, the MicroStrategy is like at 2x on top of Bitcoin. So you're better off getting like a I think it's called BitX. It's a BitX. I think BitX is a 2x on Bitcoin itself. MicroStrategy sometimes can outrun Bitcoin, get a little overheated, but eventually does pull back. We saw that earlier this year, and it came back down, and that's the reason why. I think the miners still have a much higher multiple than MicroStrategy does right now. How high do you see CORZ at the end of this bull run? Gosh, that's tough. Depending on what they install as far as new hash rate, improve their other hash rate that's out there more efficient, depending where Bitcoin goes, depending where network hash rate goes. But I would expect them to be probably north of probably $40, $50, if not higher than that even right now. Excuse me, gosh, my throat. Yeah, I think there still has a ways to go, I believe. You could probably still even get maybe like an 8x on it. So that would get into what, like $80 a share possibly? With 400 million shares, that would be, what would that be? 400 million times 8, and that's 3.2 billion. So we're looking at 32 billion maybe, especially with the HPC customers that they have there and the revenue they're going to be getting in 2025. Maybe that's possible. Starmelon Gaming says, Riot will be the worst performing return on the top miners. The cycle, poorly managed, massive dilution, no care in the world for their shareholders. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, right now they are like one of the worst performing here in the last 52 weeks. And that could be because of all the things that you've stated there. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how they do. Let's see. The HPC AI hyperscalers want the property to be ready by the fourth quarter of 2025 and first quarter 2026, according to Ben. I mean, they want it probably as fast as possible. Yeah, I would agree there. And that's why we got CoreWeave, because CoreWeave believes that Core Scientific can retrofit the facilities that they currently have in a much shorter time frame. So we're looking at possibly sometime in Q1, Q2 of 2025, which puts them in a pretty good place here. We also saw, if you guys followed Amazon at all, Amazon said their AWS services, they spent $34 billion in the first half of the year alone on upgrading their systems, getting HPC AI, things like that. And they're looking to spend another $30 billion plus this year. That alone is like, combined $64 billion. You're looking at 3x the amount of market cap that's out there in the Bitcoin miners right now, the publicly traded ones. That's just insane. So that's why I keep thinking that the hyperscalers will be the ones to benefit most from this, possibly going forward. Price prediction for Wolf, gosh, depending where Bitcoin is at, I think Bitcoin goes 2 to 3x. They could possibly be, 5x to like 8x potentially from where we are right now, as long as it can continue to grow here. Let's see. Mark says, if I see MicroStrategy pull back to 100 to 110, I'm loading up. Yeah, didn't they do a stock split? You got, what was it, 8 shares for 1 or something like that. I can't remember. I was reading it today, and I think that's what that was. I'm not sure exactly. Sarlin says $50 Wolf price target. So kind of what I'm saying there. Let's see. Hi, Seb, can you explain why miners go up or down in sync, but to the other direction than Bitcoin? This strangeness is that it seems orchestrated. What really drives the miner pricing? Sometimes the miners will front run Bitcoin. We saw that last cycle. We saw the miners peak before Bitcoin did itself. And that's the reason why for it, I think. And we can also see it front run when Bitcoin's going down in value. So you can see that happening from time to time. but yeah, they're not always in sync. Sometimes Bitcoin goes up, miners go down, and sometimes Bitcoin goes down and miners go up. It's just the way that it is. LB says, you skipped my question. Did I skip your question? Let me go back up here. If I did, I do apologize. I'm trying to go through. If I might have skipped your question. I've been going through questions quite a bit here. Research your question down below. I'll get to it before we end this stream. Let's see. I think that's NVIDIA earn report is lower than expectations. The AI and HPC play will have a big pullback. Just be careful now about AI HPC. Yeah, I agree with you there. I think a lot of the hype is based on NVIDIA and their earnings and their projections and everything else. If they have a bad quarter, that could be a pullback on the HPC stuff. See, just watch Cleanspark Q&A from their investor day, and Zach Bradford answer about why not HPC. I like his answer. It's distraction, and only miners looking into it are not good mining. I don't think that the ones that are looking into it, I think you have to be open-minded a little bit, right? If you can generate revenues like CORZ is generating just by leasing out infrastructure that's going to be built out for like a tier 3 data center and things like that with a huge premium on that, why would you not at least entertain that? So I think you want to do both. I don't think you have to do both, but I think you have to at least listen to what the offers are out there. You can't just be, I'm all Bitcoin, and that's it. So I kind of disagree with, was it there, Matt or Zach on that side of things, because money is money. Revenue is revenue, regardless of where you're getting it from. You can still be a great Bitcoin miner and still have a great additional business that is more level, it's more steady, it's more a repeating business that you know what you're going to get for it. So I kind of disagree with him there a little bit. I'm still on the fence on the HPCI. As long as you can get a great customer or a great contract like CoreWeave and Core Scientific did, then that makes sense. If you're having to spend a boatload of money to buy the HPCs, build out the infrastructure on yourself, and then find a customer, I wouldn't be for that. Let's see. The Riot down person, or the thumbs down person is Riot board members, possibly. Oh, right now we only have one down thumb. Jared says, have a great night. Thanks for all the hard work, Sebastian. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming in. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see, where did Bitfarms cash increase come from, and how many outstanding shares are out now? 425 million right now, and the cash came in from operations, them selling Bitcoin, and also using the ATM. Would you consider taking some of your gains and then allocating 1% of your entire miner portfolio to call options? I'll be honest with you. I would have to do some more research on the call options. I'm not an expert in options or anything like that, so I would have to do some more due diligence on it. Let's see. Hi, Seb. If the miners persist in diluting shares until the end of the cycle, would you price targets remain unchanged? They may remain unchanged if we see accretive growth. So if they're diluting, okay, what are they diluting for? Are they diluting for growth? Are they diluting only to hodl everything and no growth going forward? That's the difference there. So if they're diluting to grow and maybe hodl, okay. I would also like to see them sell Bitcoin in towards the peak of the bull run potentially, and then after the bull run as well, as prices are coming down, because you just don't know where the top's going to be or where the bottom's going to be. But I'd like to see them sell a portion of their hodl. They don't have to sell everything, but like have 50%. So all in all, prices can still remain the same if the growth targets are a huge improvement from where they are right now or in the future even. So yes, they can change, but if they're staying stagnant and they're diluting, then price targets will probably be coming down. There we go. Antonio says CoinGlass. Yeah, is that CoinGlass? Okay. I was close. I was thinking Glassnode. It's your CoinGlass. Let's see, CoinGlass. Okay, that's one of them. CoinGlass is one website you can definitely use it, but there's another one. It's not this one. It's another one that I'm thinking of, but I can't think of it right now. MicroStrategy 10 to 1. Yeah. Okay, so that was the split there. Robbie Dixon says, question: last 3 cycles of Bitcoin, the BTC tops were all exactly 4 years apart within 20 days. Do you have any ideas why that is? Because I find it hard to believe it's because of the fourth halving coincidence. Yeah, I mean, it is a coincidence. I mean, if you look at it, there's some, I mean, the cycles have been pretty close to each other, depending on the time, the length. Sometimes the length is a little bit different on those. Sometimes they're a little bit earlier, sometimes they're a little bit later. You also have this cycle, Bitcoin being at new all-time high before the halving event. We've never had that before. So I don't know if this halving event is going to be the same thing like we've seen in the past. The prior cycles were a little bit more. The only thing we saw was price increased more, but we saw less of a X multiple each cycle that happened. And I expect that to happen this cycle and going forward as well as we get further into the cycles. Let's see here. Summer says, afternoon greetings from Shenzhen, China. Greetings. Thank you for coming in. Let's see. Chris says, we own 90 million shares and we'll dump them when Bitfarms hits $10. Easy money. Amazing move by Jason. Yeah, I did state this before, that it's a beneficial to them in 2 ways. If they get the company, that's beneficial to them. If they hold on to the shares and Bitfarms gets to like $10, $15, I mean, they're doing basically like a 4 to 5x on their money at that point. So if they sell at that point, yeah, they're, it's a good move either way. Question: do you see Bitfarms or BitDeer, pulling back to under $7 anytime soon? That's my entire price, but I'm keep missing it. That's your entry price. Sorry. Let's see here. BitDeer. Where's BitDeer right now? BitDeer's at 844. I mean, it came down to 7 or 638 roughly, and it has come back up here. It is above the 100-day moving average. Yeah, I don't know. I think we would need Bitcoin to drop back down to like in the 50,000 range, maybe even closer to the high 40,000 range, in order for it to drop back down. If Bitcoin continues to go up, it's going to continue to go up as well. That's why I've always said for you guys, if you see the dips, buy the dips, dollar cost averaging if you can. That's kind of what I'm doing here. So far, it's worked out pretty well for me. I really can't complain on it. All right. Franco says, I swapped all my ADA Cardano for SNEK. I hope I made the right choice. Oh, well, I don't even know what SNEK is anymore. Don't pay attention to the altcoins no more. Let's see. Are you buying Cleanspark in this DP dip? I'm guessing you were saying dip there. If it dips below, like if it gets close to like $9 or something like that, that's kind of where I started buying it back in 2022. If it dips below there, I will possibly buy it some at that point. James says, I do agree with you that companies should just focus on revenue. I think Fred mentioned why they're in cash flow because of better margins to fund their BTC ops. Yeah, I mean, revenue is revenue, regardless where it comes from. If you can get a steady revenue stream from it, you should not shy away from it. CORZ to $60 in peak bull run. Yeah, possibly even higher than that, I would think. Thanks for sharing. Excuse me. Target price for Cleanspark. It didn't do well recently. I am thinking selling it and switch to Iren. Excuse me. My price target for Cleanspark this cycle was still $70. Iren is $80. But you also have to take into consideration what is the market cap at that point for each of the companies. Cleanspark at $70 will have a much higher market cap than Iren does. So you got to take that into account. Let's see. Chris says, Seb, you're a good man. Thumbs up, everybody. I will convince Seb to buy Riot. This is my goal for this year. I'm open to it. If I see Riot is doing much better in operational uptime in Corsicana, I may be swayed to buy Riot. And as long as the price is down below where I think it should be really failure valued, I may actually pick up Riot at that point. But that's the only reason I really haven't gotten, I've said this before, the only reason that I haven't gotten into Riot is because their operations have been kind of poor. They've been kind of bad, actually. So I look at that and, we'll see how they improve. Let's see. Hey, Seb, do you think after you're done the kitchen, you could come in earlier sometimes? yes, I would like to get, I mean, it's 11:44 right now, and I got to get to work tomorrow as well. I got to get up at 7 o'clock. I would, yes, we will probably start like at 8 o'clock earlier in the afternoon, maybe even sometimes at 7:30, 8 o'clock. Maybe that's the earliest. Yeah, I'd like to do that. All right, I'm caught up to all you guys' questions here. Again, thank you to everyone that has given me a super chat, super sticker, all that stuff. Greatly appreciate it. We'll see what Cleanspark provides us with tomorrow. Will they have bad news? Will they have good news? I'm hoping it's good news. But we'll find out if they report something tomorrow, and then we'll see what else happens. Typically, Fridays I don't do anything, but if we get Cleanspark to report something, I will do something. It will be probably a late stream because I have to do quite a bit of painting still in the kitchen in order to have that ready for our tile guy to come in on Saturday morning to do that. So we will cover it if it does happen. But otherwise, thank you so much for coming in here, everyone. Greatly appreciate you all. Hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday night, Friday, and then hopefully you guys have a great weekend as well. If I don't see you guys tomorrow, if Cleanspark doesn't report anything, I probably won't do a live stream. We'll do one on the weekend, probably on Sunday. But yeah, again, thank you, everyone. I'll see you guys in the next one.